Here now is our last part of Nimra Tabu's The Last Hospital.
Rift Valley Tabu constituency, a combination of lush green and dry vegetation, leads us to Kimbilio Hospice. The environment is peaceful and inviting, a perfect setting for this life-sustaining facility. Kimbilio, which in English translates to a place to run to, is a hospice found right at the heart of the Rift Valley. Since its inception 10 years ago, thousands of patients have been admitted here, many with lifelong diseases, others with diseases that are simply not treatable anymore. For many patients who come here, this is like the last hospital. In fact, for some, this is their final home. Inside the facility, I find nurses and patients singing. The ward setup is orderly and neat. There are only 3 wards here, one for children, one for women, and another one for men. This hospice was started by David Tarus, together with his American wife, Allison.
Tulipokuwa tunatembelea wagonjwa katika hospitali ya Referral Eldoret, ulikuta ya kwamba watu wenye ugonjwa saratani, paralysis, watu ambaye wanachukua vitanda, ambaye watu ambaye wangekuja kutibiwa na kuondoka haraka, hawa wanakaa kwa vitanda kwa muda mrefu.
39-year-old Sarah Isaac is critically ill. Born without the ability to speak or hear, Sarah did not indicate to anyone that she was dealing with a crisis in the making. In September last year, things took a turn for the worst.
Sasa wakachukua biopsy, wakasema itachukua 2 weeks. Sasa tukaona karama itakuwa juu, tukaamua tuende naye nyumbani. Sasa kwenda naye nyumbani tukashindwa malezi. Alikuwa tu sawa, lakini alikuwa anasema kuna kakitu kamefura tu, ukishika ni kadogo tu hivi, lakini haikuwa inamuuma sana kiasi tu.
The biopsy results revealed that she has stage 4 cancer of the breast. She's getting too weak to even communicate through sign language. She has a very big open wound.
Wanafanya dressing, wanampea dawa ya uchungu, chakula pia anapata kama diet ya kawaida. Sasa tumeona hapa ni afadhali, tena ni karibu, alafu sasa tunaweza kuja tukamuona wakati yoyote na rifara tu kwa tunaruhusiwa.
She is happy though. Her sister is getting all the care and attention she needs, even though it is too late.
Kitu ya kwanza ni kumjulisha mgonjwa ajue hali yake, ugonjwa gani, na kama amekubali tunaeleza sisi tunafanya hii na hii na hii, na hiyo ni jambo ambaye kama utapendelea tutakuwa na wewe katika hiyo kusaidia wewe kwa makali ya ugonjwa.
Normally it is easier when you get them direct from facilities like private hospital or government hospitals, because there is always a discharge summary telling them now this condition has reached this point where now the type of treatment now it changes from active treatment to palliative.
Kenneth Kipsang is 26 years old. He is from Aldai, Nandi County, but he's a student at the Taita Taveta University, where he's studying for a Bachelor of Arts degree in horticulture. He was admitted here on 20th February this year, after his leg was amputated.
Okay, the problem started just in 2012 when I just felt some pain on my left leg, and it just kept graduating, and it became something more severe. So the village people don't like things about the operation, going to surgery, anything. So I had to do my own means and find a way of getting to referral hospital.
Despite his new challenge, Kennedy decided to soldier on and study.
After amputation, I went back to school. I have been in school until recently that this problem again started appearing on the chest. The chest now developing the same problem.
Kimbilio is now his new home as the cancer in his body continues to spread.
The problem with this cancer is that the pain, you don't feel it from outside, it is from the bone. Even now it is, yesterday I realized that it has brought something that is, you can touch it and feel like it has grown. It is not like the previous days.
Caroline Chemisunde has been taking care of Kennedy since his arrival. They have developed a bond equivalent to one between a sister and a brother.
Ya kwanza, kama hautakuwa na relationship mzuri, utajua changamoto yenye mgonjwa anapitia. Kwa sababu ilichukua muda, ndio akaniambia Saidi kuhusu nyumbani vile. Hata nilipoenda nirudi ananiuliza mbona umeenda sana. Kwa sababu the rapport nilicreate the first day ya kwamba I'll be your sister and I've been where you are. Tutatembea na wewe, tutakusaidia in case uko na shida yote, tutaona vile tutakusaidia. So you reassure the patient ya kwamba I'll be with you. Kwa sababu wanajua the journey of cancer is so long and it's so painful.
I knew that when I will go to chemotherapy, all will be well. But my worries is that on Monday I was supposed to go to chemo, but unfortunately my NHIF will be active on April because I did not pay for some time. And the money that was required for the first session was 41,000. And for now, even the family cannot cooperate. At home, everybody is like doing their own activities. They are not much concerned with maybe me. So they feel like I am too much burden to them.
Kama Kimbilio, our aim goal ni offering hope. So if we give hope to him ya kwamba, even though the family is not there, I have somebody else who can take care of me. Mwenye ataniosha, atanipa chakula, na at the end of the day, atakuwa amefurahi.
He told me the story of the family. So he has gone through a lot of counseling. We have done a lot of counseling. That's why he's saying he can't harbor any kind of grudge or whatever. But we still want to let him cool down and then call the family. We will follow up until the family come here and then see the boy and let the boy really, they reconcile.
Because they told me they don't have money. So I had to use my own language to get money.
So do you feel like they've given up?
Sometimes I feel like they have given up on me. If I see them, no, I don't carry any bitterness on them. I understand how they feel when I am in such a condition.
Kenneth has only recently registered for the NHIF cover. And even though a well-wisher helped him pay the entire 6,000 shillings required annually, he had to wait until one more month before he could use the cover.
Donors who might at some point change and say, okay, now we want to fund another thing, and it will also lessen the burden on the family members. Because whatever cost they are paying, the NHIF would pay, and maybe we would provide more services. We would have expanded this place to 50, to even 100, or even have some others in different places. So, for sure, NHIF should really come in as an intervention for post-treatment housing.
When we went to meet with the CEO last year, he was very positive, and he asked us to do some quick costing for oncology palliative care. So Nairobi Hospice did some costing of their services, and we delivered this to him. And he said he's going to look into it and incorporate it into the package. We don't know what the package is right now. If I knew what the package is, I would be able to say they have started covering or not. But these are things that are never really disclosed to people. I think they need to be more transparent. NHIF, UHC, whatever it is, they need to be more transparent and say this is what we are going to do for oncology, for NCDs, for palliative care.
Like with our packages, a cancer patient can accrue even up to 1.2 million shillings a year in terms of benefits, from the chemo, from the radiotherapy, from surgery if it's required, etc. So that would be there. Now, going towards palliative care, now, because of the nature of also that treatment, in terms of insurance, it is not, like a standard benefit, though we are actually looking at introducing that in form of a package. But even those patients at that time of need, should they need to be hospitalized, the benefit is still there.
Aaron Kipchirchir is also admitted here. While working at a farm in Dalat, Nandi County, his friend tripped while they were carrying a huge log. The weight fell on him, causing his spine to snap. He is now paralyzed.
Bas nikafanywa operation, nikakaa for 1 week pale referral. Nikarudi nyumbani. Nikakuja nikakaa nyumbani for 3 months. Nikapata vinonda. Silitokesea mkuu. Juu siku hiyo si kwa hata nikipenduka ama si kwa nikipenduka. Sasa vinonda sikatokesea pande hii na hapa nyuma.
His wife, who was expecting a baby at the time, could not help him much, so he ended up here, where his bed sores were cleaned and treated until they healed. He has been undergoing physiotherapy on a daily basis, something he never experienced at a public hospital.
Sina haraka hata. Bora tu tumeongea na watoto, wako salama. Mtu akitaka kuja kuniona ni sawa, lakini asipotaka ni sawa. Juu sasa hata mimi nakaa sawa niko nyumbani sasa. Hauna mafikira? Hakuna. Sikai hata mimi mgonjwa. Sisikii hata ninasikia niko sawa sana. Najua ama daktari na wengine hawahisi kuambia ukweli. Ukimuuliza mwingine anakuambia nyingine. Ukimuuliza mwingine anakuambia nyingine. Sasa mwingine aliniambia inachukua time alafu unaweza tembea kidogo lakini huwezi tembea kama mwanzo. Mwingine akaniambia hakuna huwezi tembea tena. Nikasema bora uwai iko. Bora bado mimi naangalia watoto. Sina haraka.
Night time, and the in-house chef is ready to serve today's special. Tonight, they will have ugali, kels, porridge, milk and soup. First to be served are the children. They are carefully fed by the staff who try to mind them just like the parents would. The adults in the wards also get their share of the meal. Some require assistance sitting, some have the appetite, some don't. Sarah Isaac is one of the many patients here who need assistance feeding. Others cannot swallow and have to feed through nostrils. Each patient here receives personal attention, and the staff here have a lot of kindness. 28-year-old Rebecca, not her real name, is suffering from colon cancer. It is at an advanced stage, and her body is giving away every day. Tonight, she cannot eat. The pain is simply too much. Before long, they will finish eating and rest, and pray that tomorrow comes. Jacqueline Nyongesa is the clinical officer in charge at the hospice. She ensures every patient who comes here gets the best under the circumstances.
You'll find yourself attending to all those kinds of needs in a day without even realizing, because at some point you receive patients who have no families and now you have to be the family. They call you my sister, they call you my daughter, and you have to be there now as a daughter. Now you leave aside being a doctor and now you have to be a daughter, you have to be the family.
Once at the workplace, everyone here has to put aside his or her personal issues and focus on the patients.
So this patient normally, and on their point of view, they have questions, they ask. Some of them know already what lies ahead of them, some of them don't, some know but they are still in denial. So as a clinician, and the good thing about Kimbilio is that we have our spiritual director also. There's an extent in which we go. Wherever you feel something is not in your capacity to answer, you have to call somebody to support you.
Our mistake has been that we have not been training people at that level to understand what palliative care is. And this is what we have been trying to change in this country. In 2012, we were able to put palliative care into the nursing curriculum for nurses. So the nurses who graduate these days have a basic understanding of what palliative care is.
Amen, hallelujah, amen.
The following day, nurses and doctors join the patients in worship songs after breakfast. This is a routine that gives them spiritual nourishment every day. It is one of the ways of soothing their pain. The philosophy here is to recreate for these patients the atmosphere of one big caring family.
Kwa kweli hii kazi ni ngumu sana na inahitaji ujitolee Si ati unafanya kama ni kulipa mshahara, hapana, ni kujitolea like a service.
Hii ni zaidi ya kazi. Kwa maana kama huyu mtu mwenyewe, mnajua wengi wao hawawezi kujisaidia kwa njia yoyote. Na yeye sio baba yako, yeye sio mtoto yako, na unataka kumhudumia, lazima ukuwe na moyo. Sasa hiyo kazi ya kutafuta kwanza wafanyakazi hapa ni kazi ngumu. Kupata mtu ambaye anajitolea na anajituma na anajiweka katika nafasi ya mtoto ya huyo mama, anajiweka katika nafasi ya mama ya huyo mtoto au mjomba ya huyo mtoto.
The man who heads the spiritual functions here is Agrey Chinji. He has been the chaplain for 6 years, holding sermons and saying prayers for the patients, even to the very last minute of life.
Na hata pia kufacilitate their priests, wachungaji wao kuja kuwaombea, either ni kuwabatiza na mambo mengine kama hayo. So ninasimama ndani nikiwa nawasilisha mchungaji wao, inaweza kuwa hata wa Kiislamu, mimi nakuwa pale kuwapatanisha na jamii ya kanisa lao.
For all the services available at Kimbilio Hospice, patients are only required to pay 5,000 shillings admission fee and another 200 shillings daily for the duration of their stay here.
Unajua pale, sijui nitasemaje hata. Hapa ni sawa tu mimi nalipa nini chakula tu. Nikifikiria hiyo mambo ya nini, hiyo pesa yenye mimi nalipa hapa, hiyo ni kama ya chakula tu ama nini. Ni pesa kidogo tu.
Sisi tumejaribu kufanya karama mgonjwa mmoja ambaye anakaa hapa ni karibu shilingi 3,200 kwa siku. Tukijaribu kabisa kwa mafinyo, lakini tunapatia mgonjwa mwenyewe alipe shilingi 200 katika hapa kila siku. Na sisi tunamkaramia kwa yale mengine.
So far the hospice has served slightly more than 2,000 patients since it opened its doors. There have been many success stories and sad ones too.
And bereavement has been the difficult part of the hospice care, because at that time maybe the families are away and you are there as a clinician and you are seeing this patient today, tomorrow not be there. It has been the worst experience to us. But there are those who didn't have, even our patients when they die, we have lost so many, but when they die, the good thing from our part, they die without pain. They die pain-free, and that's the main goal. They died, some of them say, let us rest, let me rest, I'm tired.
At a corner just outside this compound is Kimbilio Funeral Home. The funeral home has a mortuary and a chapel. Daniel, the coordinator at Kimbilio, says the funeral home has helped ease the burden of cost for relatives whose patients lose the fight. All the items here are sold at a very subsidized price, keeping in mind the economical background of many relatives. The funeral home is also accessible to other members of public outside the hospice.
Kwa wale watu wanatoka vijijini kuja kutumia hiyo funeral home yetu, inasaidia kupata mapato ya kusaidia kutibu wale wengine. Lakini kwa wale wa kwetu, kuna mahali tunataka kusaidia familia. Bereavement ni kitu ngumu zaidi tena, na sisi hapa tunasaidia familia kwenda through. Kwa maana sio mgonjwa sio wetu tu wakati alikuwa anapona, hata kama maaga, familia pato ni yetu.
I leave Kimbilio Hospice after having met new friends for 2 days, with great hope that the patients will pull through and get better, while the employees will continue caring for them with unwavering dedication. I can't help but wonder, what if hospices such as this one could be replicated all across the country?
I've come to broaden my approach of understanding what really matters to the patient. And I've come to realize there are 3 very important things. One is that patient and his God or our God. Secondly is the human dignity of that patient. Please let me be clean, so that when my people come, they will find me clean, I'm in a clean bed, the toilets are clean, all the other places are clean. And finally, it's about the human relations.
Ninaita wa Kenya wote, hasa viongozi wetu, waone ya kwamba kama mtu ako na saratani, amekatwa mkono, amekatwa mguu, aongei tena, hawezi kusimama, hawezi kufanya kibarua yote tena, hapo ndio sisi wengine ambao tunachangia NHIF ndio tungesaidia. lakini wakati hiyo wanasema palliative care ni ngumu kusaidia mtu katika NHIF. Hii magonjwa ya muda mrefu hujui na hayako katika mkononi mwetu kama wanadamu kusema huyu anaaga huyu haki, na wale wanaaga kwa accident sasa, na tumepatia bima. Sasa bima lazima ikuwe ya kila mmoja.
Some of the patients we talked to said they were aware about the role of NHIF, but they simply cannot afford monthly or annual contributions. Others have been contributing depending on their time of need, but accessing services from the fund is a huge challenge, and it has everything to do with the time of registration and maturity of the cover.
The notion, and I've seen that a lot, and I'm urging and imploring members to join, and then those issues of being told you have to wait for 2 months, it is to prevent that adverse selection. So what we find is that because you have a need, now you know I need dialysis, I need to look for 20,000 shillings every week for dialysis, so where do I do this? I can't remove it from my pocket. Oh, let me go buy insurance so that it can pay for that. That to me is what I call buying money. And that has been the biggest challenge.
But some of these deadly diseases do not wait for insurance policy cover to mature. Cancer, for instance, can advance in one's body from one stage to another in a matter of weeks, not to mention diabetes and cardiovascular diseases.
In Southern African countries, when HIV scourge hit, there were very few people who had like life insurance or the last expense. But right now, those insurances of last expense have even exceeded the insurance for motor vehicles, because people have understood the need, because they saw it. Yeah. Unfortunately, for many of us to have that behavior change, to know that this is something I need to do, you need to see the consequences of it. But unfortunately, with health, the consequences are usually dire.
Universal health cover is very important. It will also be able to support these patients who cannot afford their treatment, and we will not be losing patients the way we are losing patients. We will not have people living in pain and suffering. So, as you know, our president is one of his agendas is that people should have access to health care. The pilots that have taken part in this country have not been very successful, and kind of UHC, the way it was supposed to have happened, has moved to a different concept now, where we are going to have UHC through NHIF. I do not know exactly how that will work.
And so for many of these patients, palliative care is the only option. Their sicknesses are beyond treatment, and all they need is care. But that too is increasingly scarce. Those who run palliative care services know something has to change.
We have many nurses who are trained, but they are not even supported much. These nurses are not even recognized by the Nursing Council of Kenya as specialists.
We now have to return to Ruiru to check on one last patient. We have learned that Marcus, the boy suffering from a genetic skin disorder, has finally been discharged from the Kenyatta National Hospital. But my high spirits are quickly dampened. Lying on a couch in the sitting room, Marcus looks lively and affords a smile, but his wounds are no better than they were the last time. His mother, Jacqueline, tells me that before leaving the hospital, the wounds had started to dry, but 2 days later, the blisters popped up again. For many children his age, having a warm bath and a nice splash under the sun would be irresistible, but for Marcus, this is the worst nightmare. The wounds are fresh, and warm salty water makes the experience all the more excruciating. Finally, his mother delicately lifts him out of the bucket and lets him dry. She then applies liquid paraffin throughout his body. It gives him a soothing effect. Another skin ointment is applied to prevent infection.
Hii sasa inamsaidia cause nikimwagilia tu siguzi tu yenyewe inajispread. Sita mshikashika kusema kama hizi mafuta zingine jua ile kufanya hivi bado inachangia kutoa utorobudu blisters. Alafu ina ichtoi. Alafu mjukuno inapungua kiasi.
His baby teeth are about to fall off, but the mother has been advised against pulling them off, as this could lead to excessive bleeding and open wounds around the gum area. As he grows older, Marcus will require to be fully dressed in gauze and light bandages in order to prevent trauma on his delicate skin. His will be a life that requires attention round the clock. Jacqueline too will need a lot of help in order to cope with her son's condition.
Inanifanyanga nisikie nikiwa down kabisa, cause nashindwa hiyo ni maisha gani? Taishi aje?
Like many patients we have seen all around the country, the back and forth hospital visits are beginning to take a toll on her as she awaits for every tomorrow with a mixture of hope and questions without answers. Nimrod Tabu, Citizen TV.